Cuts, burns, amputation, exposure, shock are just some examples that can occur on equipment that has not been properly shut down during servicing, repair, or maintenance. Equipment which is energized or which contains stored energy and can accidentally release this energy and cause serious injury. The shutdown or isolation of equipment before any servicing or maintenance is carried out is commonly referred to as lockout or lockout tagout. All WSB Titan companies have adopted this policy to prevent accidents during servicing, repair, or maintenance of energized equipment, machinery, or vehicle. There are two purposes of a lockout. First, to remove or neutralize all hazardous energy sources that are present. And second, to prevent the accidental activation of any hazardous energy source until the lockout or work is completed. In other words, a lockout is a planned event to isolate, block, and control all hazardous energy sources, and therefore they are critical for maintaining safe working conditions and should always be strictly enforced. Lockout procedure. All employees and contractors who perform maintenance activities on equipment must follow these guidelines and procedures. You are prohibited from undertaking any work on equipment unless the equipment is fully secured against accidental startup, movement, or release of stored energy. There are 6 steps for a successful lockout tagout. 1. Preparation. The next step is to notify all affected workers of the required lockout and the reasoning for the lockout. Next, identify all possible sources of energy. 2. Shutdown and isolation. Prior to beginning service turn, disconnect and de-energize the equipment using normal stopping procedure. Only workers who are trained to use the equipment or machinery should perform the regular shutdown. All valves, switches, circuit breakers, and other controls that supply energy to the equipment must be disconnected or locked out, and stored energy should be dissipated or restrained. For example, on a forklift, the forks, if left raised, create a hazard if they were to release and fall to the ground. By lowering the forks to the ground, you remove the chance for this energy to present a hazard. Also, keep in mind that the electrical equipment that might be fed by more than one power source. It should be tested with a voltage meter to ensure that no electrical energy is present, and stored energy must be released or disconnected by whichever method is the most reasonable. 3. Apply the lockout tagout. Lock out and tag the energy-isolated device with an assigned lock. In the case of a forklift, this is accomplished by disconnecting the propane connector and applying the lockout over the hose. In the case of an electrical tool, it would mean putting it on the plug. Note that the locks clearly show the name of the person or department that applied it and details the appropriate information about the lockout. The lock and tag can only be removed when the worker is finished working on the equipment. 4. Verification of isolation. An attempt to restart the equipment should be made to verify that it is completely de-energized. If energy is released during this verification, work can't continue. Turn off switches and close valves once a de-energized state is verified. In the event that the equipment is capable of remote operation, the shutdown must be reported and remote operating locations contacted and notified. Once all workers are in an area where they cannot be injured, verify that the energy sources have been disconnected and there is no possibility of the equipment turning on. 5. Release the lockout tagout. First, inspect the work area to ensure that all items have been removed and that the equipment components are operational prior to removing the locks and tags. Ensure other workers are a safe distance away from any potential hazards which may occur. Each worker or department that has affixed a lock to an energy control point must remove their own lock. Notify affected workers that the locks and tags have been removed. The equipment is now ready for regular use. 6. Startup procedures for previously locked out equipment. Once maintenance activities are completed and before the equipment may be restarted, a person who is trained in the procedures must ensure that all personnel are out of harm's way. The work area must be free of slip, trip, and fall hazards, as well as tools, debris, and other objects or material. All guards that have been removed must be replaced. For more details and for a full list of procedures and possible exceptions to be aware of, please refer to the lockout and tagout policies available from your supervisor. It's important that everyone who participates in performing a lockout, shutting down, or working on the equipment understands their role, its importance of properly performing a lockout, and their obligations for attaching and removing locks and tags. Doing this will help ensure the health and safety of all our workplaces. If you have any questions about this procedure, we invite you to speak with your supervisor or contact your company's health and safety person using the number on your screen. Remember, safety, it's everyone's business.